Yeah, baby. I don't have a beverage.
You want me to keep them company while you get a beverage? Or
maybe I'll just have a sip of yours. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, we could share a soda.
Yeah, if you want the rest.
I mean, I don't want it, but I'm just saying, it's nothing weird about it. Like, if we're gay guys, we'd probably make out, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, yeah, it's so weird. It's like,
if you were gay, would you date me, you think?
It's hard to say. I might be a little more picky.
What would your type be?
I guess my type would probably be more effeminate.
Like, okay.
But it is weird when you think about it. It's like, well, let's say that we're both much younger and, you know, you're thinking you're going to go to a party or a bar, and it's not out of the question that you're going to hook up and make out with some girl that night that you've never met. That's fine. And yet sharing a drink with your buddy is weird for some reason. Like,
well, that's the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it, is like, you know, I mean, I feel like everything's relative. Like when I spend money, it's always like if there's something and it's like $100 and you're like, I don't know if I should get that. But then I'm like, well, you know what? I would spend that when I was hanging out at the Improv bar.
Oh,
that was like
just like
2 hours of being out at a bar if you buy a few rounds of drinks.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm like that too. Like, where I'm like, well, if I have sex with that homeless lady, I mean, I would put my dick in a pile of garbage. So
that's
what's
true.
the difference?
Like, yeah, it really doesn't. Or another one is like, if I had a friend who came up to me and said, hey, I'm really down and out, you know, my kids can't eat. I screwed up and I need some money and I'll pay you back. I swear. It's like, I wouldn't give that person money, but I'll blow $200 on just some, you know, just dive bar.
Yeah.
Just so I could get drunk.
Oh wait, so you wouldn't give your friend money?
No, that's what I thought that's what we were talking about, is that we're such hypocrites.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No,
I'm a hypocrite.
I guess I would give that guy money. Depends.
I taught my daughter what the word hypocrite means, and it was a big mistake.
Oh no.
Because she's just like, oh, so you're being a hypocrite. You know, I'm like, well, I shouldn't have taught her that.
Yeah, you got to wait on that.
It's like, you got to go to bed. And she's like, I come out when you're up until 2 a.m. just doing shit on your computer.
You're a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would be tough.
She called me a cock smoker too.
Oh, you taught her that?
I don't know where she picked that one up.
Oh man.
I think off YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, you got how's your cooking show doing?
It's all right. So I do 2 streams. Thank you. I do 2 streams a week on Twitch, which is HenLips1 on Twitch. And then I do 1 YouTube video a month. Actually, I put that on my Patreon. And
so is there Patreon exclusive kitchen stuff?
Yeah, there's tons.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then what I'll do is after a few months, I'll go back, look at it, and then I'll pick one to put out on YouTube and hopefully get more people to the Patreon. Because you and I both know, or I don't know, maybe you've had better luck, but I mean, I have, I guess, 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is supposed to be pretty decent.
That's pretty good, yeah.
But it doesn't translate into any actual finances.
But do you do advertising on it?
Yeah, they show ads on there.
So you get checks.
Yeah, it's like maybe
a few
$100 a month or something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Low. Yeah,
I don't know how and I've talked about this before, but like the music industry especially, like I don't get how Spotify, how did we have this healthy business for if you're a band, you're like, if I put out a good record, like Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction sold 40 million copies. So all those guys are set for life. But now if you make an album and it gets 40 million downloads, you get $250.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple things. I actually do know a little bit about this because I was part of that. I had a record deal. I had 2 albums out with a record deal. There were albums that started coming out, like that one you named, the Guns N' Roses album. Yeah. Every song on there is awesome. That's a fucking great album.
Yeah.
In the 90s, there were albums by some of these guys. I remember that Rockabye. Remember that song?
Rockabye.
So I actually bought that album, and I heard that song, of course.
Yeah.
And of course, back then you had to buy it, so I paid
Yeah.
$16.
Yeah.
Every other song on that, and I don't want to insult the guy or whatever, but every other song sucked.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, I just spent $15 for one song. So that kind of stuff
Yeah.
pissed people off. And then eventually what happened, but also those other songs didn't even have production value. It was just singer-songwriter. It was just kind of like stuff you'd hear, in a coffee house when you're trying to talk to your friend or whatever. But anyway, and again, I'm not trying to insult the guy. But I'm just saying.
Song by, do you know who that? Wait, this isn't the song.
What?
I looked up Rockabye. It says song by Clean Bandit, but that's not
No,
that.
that's something
Yeah.
else. See, now there's a whole. See, we're talking about 30 years ago now.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, eventually people got pissed, and so they started selling. Well, then they started going to Napster because they're like, well, all I want is that one song anyway. So I think the industry saw what was coming, and they just said, well, you know what? If we sell people a song for $1 in MP3, at least that keeps them on the grid and they're actually paying for it. But you could actually make a living that way too. I remember back in the iTunes days where you could sell a CD and people would buy each song for $1.
Yeah.
And that was actually working too. But then the streaming thing is just a joke. I mean, that's, well, I mean,
like Spotify, I don't understand. It's like the guys who run Spotify are billionaires.
well, yeah, the famous statistic is like the guy who owns Spotify is worth like $5 billion, and Paul McCartney's worth not even $1 billion.
Right.
So it's like that already tells you, like, the guy who wrote all the songs going back, it's technology. I think it became easy to steal, and I think it's happening with movies now. So they're having similar problems.
Well, a friend of mine told me with, how there's like an FBI warning before, when you're watching a videotape or whatever, videotape. He was just like, shut up. He's like, it's like broken jars of mayonnaise or whatever. He's like, not everybody's, it's like, when you work at a grocery store and you get a shipment of like mayonnaise, it's like one or two of the jars are going to be broken. It's like the whole FBI thing. Because there's one guy selling DVDs on the street corner in New York, like whatever. Yeah, it's illegal, but
it costs them nothing to put that on there anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, you remember there was that classic, and I actually made a Highwayman episode about this. But there was that Doobie Brothers. Very special 2-part episode of what's happening. Yeah. And it's great because they're just like, pirating hurts everybody, man. It hurts the record label.
That's
it hurts
funny,
the artist. And worst of all, it hurts the consumer because then the consumer gets ripped off on not having a good recording.
That's right.
And it's like, I don't think the consumer cares. They're not buying.
Nobody gives a shit. They're like, it's like when those illegal HBO boxes came out. Like, when you hear about it, you're like, oh, wait, how can I get a free recording of the Doobie Brothers album? You're not like, hey, man, that's not fair to those guys in a private jet getting blowjobs right now.
Yeah, totally.
They could have $5 more.
Yeah, exactly. This is really messed up what we're doing. Yeah, no, there's so much shit like that.
Let me look up, see if I can find a clip of the What's Happening Doobie Brothers.
Oh, it's so great.
Part 2. Oh, man, this is going to be the whole
Find
episode.
the part where reruns the tape recorder
falls out of his jacket. Yeah, I remember.
Is he dancing or something?
He's like jumping around, like taking it to the streets.
I got to say.
And they like stop mid-song, too. Let's see if... this is a 3-minute clip. Let's see if skip to the part
I didn't realize it was Michael McDonald.
Oh, here's ReRun dancing around. Hold on. Yeah, he's just like he's not dancing that crazy. He's not doing the ReRun dance. But he's like right in the front. It's funny too because it's like the Doobie Brothers were super popular then, and it's like,
oh yeah.
Oh wait, oh there, now he's jumping around. This is there, the tape recorder. He's got a giant tape recorder too, and all the Doobie Brothers see it. They're pointing to it. Oh man, they caught him busted. ReRun's dead, huh?
Yeah, sadly.
Fred Berry, did you ever meet him?
No, I never met him. But I got to say, I had to rewatch that episode for research for my Highwayman episode. And Dee is like the unsung hero of that show. She was so funny. She was so good.
Yeah.
And wait, can you go to mine the band? It's BANNED, Highwayman. And if you skip to the end, you'll see my version of that scene.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever saw it.
Wait, these are all just Johnny Cash. These are just Highwaymen.
No, it's 2 words, Highwayman, and then band, BANNED. Might have to put hen lips in there too, I guess.
Okay.
I'm getting lost in the thing, in the algorithm.
Boots.
Wow,
it's not even popping up on YouTube.
Wow, that sucks. Hold on, let me see. BANNED, right?
Yeah. Highwayman band hen lips. I wrote. And,
what the hell? Did YouTube ban me or something?
I mean, Highwayman is 2 words, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so. Oh wait, no. Try bootleg.
Oh, so it's not the.
Yeah, I that was the working title band. Yeah, bootleg. Yeah, okay. That's what it is. Sorry about that.
Here we go. So the end. Go to the end.
Yeah, go to like the last minute and a half or something.
Okay.
There's a little chase scene, and then I find the guy. Wait, is there a guy in a trench coat there?
No, you're taking a video.
Oh, no. Yeah, go back about a minute and a half before that then.
Hey, we need to go back inside. Break time's up.
Oh, yeah, a minute before that.
Oh, geez, Henry.
Sorry,
you really don't know your stuff. You don't know the titles. You don't know.
How is he doing it?
There's a guy in a trench coat. Yeah. You're chasing a guy in a trench coat.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm not doing anything wrong here.
Let's see what's under that trench coat.
All right. You got me. So you're the bootlegger.
But how is he doing it?
I'll tell you how he was doing it. He was recording your shows on that tape recorder and then taking it home, putting a microphone up against the speaker, and then converting it to a CD, and then putting the CD into his computer and using some kind of software to convert it to a 128 kilobyte per second the analog file, and then was able to file server or something like that. But he was doing it.
So that's why all those recordings sounded like garbage.
Why didn't you just use a cell phone?
Because I don't like modern technology.
Well, then what's the point?
I'll tell you the point. Influencer status.
That's right. And I was almost up to 1,000 followers until you guys stuck your head in my business.
Well, there's going to be a lot of people sticking their heads in your business when you're in jail.
Seriously?
I mean that in a negative way, though. Oh. Anyway, here, take him away.
Yeah, so that was directly lifted from the What's Happening episode.
What's your biggest problem? I mean, what gets you the craziest?
When engine goes off.
Say it's definitely bootlegging. Yeah. Bootlegging?
Yeah, that's bootlegging.
What's that?
That's where somebody illegally records one of our concerts, and sells it to the public.
Yeah, what happens is, see, the record company doesn't make any money, we don't make any money, and the public gets a pretty bad recording.
Well, how do they get away with it?
Well, the bootlegger gets some gullible, unsuspecting, stupid kid, gives him tickets and sets him up with a tape recorder to sneak in.
Well, what's wrong with that?
It's the law for one thing, ReRun, and for another, if we catch anybody doing it, he's going to go to jail for a long time. Right. Amen.
Well, can you guys just yell at him?
Just to bring it full circle.
I loved What's Happening when I was a kid. I mean, it was all reruns.
I found it for some reason, I don't know why, but more accessible than the other shows. African American shows like Good Times and
I never got into Good Times.
I think maybe because those were all adults and
or
not really, but not really Good Times.
I think it was actually just scheduling. I mean, that's like so archaic now, but it's like people don't realize. Like my kids won't even be able to wrap their head around the idea of like, well, I had to be home at 11 a.m. if I wanted to watch a Brady Bunch rerun. You're like, well, why didn't you just watch it later? Because it wasn't on.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't.
No, totally.
And I feel like What's Happening in the summers, they would rerun that during the day.
Yeah.
So that was just on like when me and my brother were home eating lunch.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And so it was like, What's Happening, Leave It to Beaver, The Munsters, Brady Bunch, and Gilligan's Island were like the reruns that were on.
Yeah, What's Happening was just real easy watching for me. I liked all of them. I loved Raj.
No Roger, no rerun, no rent.
They were very specific characters.
Yeah.
But, you know, speaking of a little bit of nostalgia here, I don't know if a lot of your audience are young people or
I don't know who they are.
Yeah. But it's funny because I found an old answering machine in my mom's garage.
Okay.
Recently, and so I pulled it out, plugged it in, and just started playing the messages.
Oh,
and they're
wow.
all from like early 90s.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because people used to leave these long messages.
Yeah.
Because there was no email. So it'd be like, hey, okay, so the meeting this Friday is you're gonna take the 10 to the 405 or whatever, and then you're gonna get off on Wilshire, and then you're gonna go about a block, and then blah blah blah. You want to bring a pencil and a paper so that you have the. But it was just like they would just go on forever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, that's what we did, and it was pretty much you had to have a pencil and a paper while you were listening to the message to write all this shit down.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, there was a pen and pad next to the phone at my folks' place, and you would have to like write down. I remember one time my dad was he was a fireman, but he had a siding business on the side.
Yeah.
Where he would do like siding on houses, you know, like aluminum siding or whatever, vinyl siding and shit. So he gets a call, and I answered the phone and wrote the message down, and the guy was like, yeah, it's Ernie Speitza. I got to call, whatever, your dad's doing a thing for me or whatever. And I was like, okay, what's your number? And I wrote it down, Ernie Speitza. And the thing, my dad's like, I don't know, who the fuck's Ernie Speitza? And I'm like, I don't know. That's what the guy said his name was. And then he realized it's like, oh, Ernie's Pizza. It was a pizza place.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, we had it so hard.
I mean, it wasn't, I was just talking because we just got a landline here, and I got this old vintage cordless phone with a tape with an answering machine in it. And we were talking about like just going back.
Kidding. We didn't have it that hard. But anyway.
Well, but it is like you could just miss something. Like, you're out, you're doing something, you come home, you check your messages, and they're like, hey, there's a blowjob party. You got to get over here, man. Here's the address.
Oh, man.
And you're like, fuck. I could have been at that blowjob party. Could have been blowing guys.
And there's so many plots that don't work anymore. Now with cell phones. It's like,
actually, this movie doesn't work on any level now. That movie After Hours with Griffin Dunn and Martin Scorsese, because the whole thing is he is in a cab and he's got a $20 bill and it blows out the window, and then he can't get across New York because he doesn't have any money, and it's like, well, ATMs, everything is solved in that movie. You'd have to really, because now every movie is just like they have to set up with like, I'm not getting any reception or something, or my phone's dead.
What are you doing? You just threw my phone in the toilet. Now we're really screwed. Yeah, but there was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which was an amazing movie. And about 10 years later, they remade an old movie called The Out of Towners that was like a Jack Lemmon movie or something like that. And I mean, I apologize to anybody who's in this or whatever, but it was just a bad idea, because everything that you see in this, even at that time, it's like, well, why don't they just go to the local American Express and they'll issue them a new card? It's like, why are they sleeping in Central Park? This wealthy guy. There was just so many things like that, and I was just like, it's actually fun to watch because it's like a study in like so many plots just don't work anymore.
Yeah, I have a clip of Lars Ulrich in the Senate hearings against Napster.
Oh,
awesome.
Nice.
We're honored to have all of you here. Mr. Ulrich, I really look forward to hearing your testimony as well as all the others. So we'll start with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I can only buy 3
Mr.
votes.
Chairman,
Which
my name is Lars Ulrich. I was born in Denmark. In 1980, as a teenager, my parents and I came to America. I started a band named Metalica in 1981 with my best friend James Hetfield. By 1983, we had released our first record, and by 1985, we were no longer living below the poverty line. Since then, we've been very fortunate to achieve a great level of success in the music business throughout the world. It's the classic American dream come true. I'm very honored to be here in this country.
I mean, I don't mean to call him a dildo, but it is like giving his whole life story.
There's no work on a song for the movie.
I was born in Denmark and emigrated here. We were poor, and now we're crazy fucking rich.
But we're at risk of maybe being poor again because poor people are starting to download.
I mean, technically, it's nearly impossible for us to become poor again.
Yeah,
but it's all about the principle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'd have to make a series of compounded financial disastrous mistakes.
Yeah.
For me to become even remotely poor.
Yeah.
And poor to me is like 250 grand a year, Your Honor.
Yeah, totally. and only one out of every several thousand of people that try to do what I did are successful.
Yeah.
And I was just one of them.
I mean, it's more probable for somebody to win the lottery than to achieve what Metallica's achieved.
But I want to shut the proverbial door behind me if possible.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah. And if I want to, I also want to bring emotion to, is if there's a way to go into people's houses and make sure nobody's making a tape of our albums for their friends to share with their friends.
Yeah, no, it's just, there's no way you can possibly look good doing that.
But now it's like, I mean, yeah, but it's weird how everybody's just like, oh, well, that's the way it is. Like, it's just, that's the way.
I'm trying to think of another analogy. I mean, it's like, once something becomes ever present, it's not scarce anymore.
Right.
It's not cheap. So it becomes cheap.
Yeah.
So it's like, music, it's like you go to the bathroom at the Galleria or whatever, and they're playing Sinatra with like a 50-piece orchestra and all this stuff. I mean, there was so much money that went into that, and now you're just hearing it while you're taking a piss. It's like, it's not valuable to anybody anymore. So the only way they can sell music is to say, all right, give us $10 a month and we'll give you literally all the music you could ever imagine, and then we'll divvy that money up among the people.
That's what doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm obviously I'm not a financial guy because I just don't, somebody gives me $100, I spend it before it's even all the way in my pocket.
Yeah.
But I don't understand like how festivals work too. When it's like, there'll be like a music festival and it's like headliners, Metallica and REM, and then 7,000 other bands. And I'm like, okay, I mean, a 3-day pass is like a couple $100 or whatever. Multiply that by like 100. I don't know. I mean, it's like, I guess it shakes out somehow.
They have some sponsors.
They get sponsors and stuff
or something.
But then it's like, but couldn't Metallica just play the Super Center in that town and make like $2 million in one night? Like, do they just have to give them $2 million to headline their festival? And then how does that affect, like, I mean, obviously, like, we've done comedy festivals, and if you're at our level, they're like, hey, do it or take it or leave it. It's $0.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Get yourself here, find a place to stay, and we'll pay you $0. Or actually, you got to give us a few bucks.
Well, yeah, I mean, you and I were both there when Stanhope was doing his Just for Spite thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which was amazing.
Yeah.
Did I ever
But
tell
look
you,
where he's at now. He's not doing so great,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It seems like he's
he's not on TV. He's not I mean, he's no Gabriel Iglesias or...
he's no CEO of Spotify with $5 billion. You just start comparing
he's just doing comedy on the road and living his dream.
I love my favorite moment. I'm just paraphrasing Brian Hennigan telling me one time about the thing, and they spent like several $1,000s to have this huge party. It was the one that happened after the year that you and I were there. It was like the last year that he did Just for Spite.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize he did it more than once.
Oh yeah, there was the garage.
It was the car wash across the street from the Omni or whatever the hotel where everybody stays.
Yeah, and I guess somebody at some point asked Hennigan, like, you have to explain to me the business model here, because you're spending $3,000 on the car wash venue and you're buying like several $1,000s of free booze for everybody.
Right.
Where are you making your money? And Hennigan's like, what part of Just for Spite do you not get? It's so perfect. It's called Just for Spite. It's not called Just for Money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you were telling, you should tell that story you were telling me before we started recording about the sandwich place, the lady.
Oh, wait, now I don't remember which one.
Fat John or whatever.
Yeah, it was in the Mid-Wilshire area, and there's all these places because, there's this corner market here which makes really good sandwiches.
Yeah.
They have like Ray's Way, and there's Jersey Mike's way, but it's always probably just like a heavy set dude, and so I was in this place that was a mom and pop in a mini mall, and there was a lot of like corporate people that worked around there, and they were always in a hurry, and there was a sort of a business lady there getting a sandwich, and she's like, yeah, I'll just get like a turkey pesto, and the guy's like, yeah, do you want that Fat Mario's way or whatever? And she's like, no, I don't want that. Oh, okay. And the guy's kind of disappointed, and she's like, just tomatoes and pickles and oil and vinegar or whatever. And the guy's like, that's Fat Mario's way. And she's like, all right, then make it Fat Mario's way. I don't care. She just like didn't realize that she was getting it Fat Mario's way. She looked so disappointed.
She's like, he's like, do you want it Fat Mario's way? And she's like, no. He's like, okay, what do you want on it? She's like, can you put like a fried egg and a pound of bacon and a milkshake? And he's like, that's totally, fucking Fat Mario. That's even totally fatter than Fat Mario.
Whoa. And then she gets some prize. Well, did I ever tell you my story about the Witch? Have you ever been at that place?
I don't know if I've ever been there. I'm familiar. I've seen it. I don't. Maybe when I was like traveling, I stopped at one time.
I've only been in there once. It was on La Cienega. I was in a bad mood anyway. It was one of those days where everything's just going shitty. Like I got a ticket or something.
Yeah.
Stepped in dog shit. Whatever. And I go into this place, and there's this long line. And I get up to the front, and I go, yeah, I just want, meatball sub or whatever. And the guy's like, oh, sir, the way it works is, you see there's these papers over there and the pencil. You write down all the items that you want, and you just hand it to us. So if you don't mind going over there. I'm like, what? I want the meatball sub. I just stood in line. Well, that's the way we do it.
Yeah.
So I turned around all angry, and all the other people didn't know how it worked either.
Yeah.
And this guy said to me, excuse me, what happened up there? And I go, I guess I got to do all kinds of paperwork or something. And then the guy's like, paperwork? And he's like with his girlfriend, and they're like, let's get out of here. It's like, I don't want to do paperwork.
But that's true, though.
Yeah, I know. It was so awful, but it's like, they're probably like, what? We have to do, like, is it the DMV or something like that? Like, you need a number 2 pencil. And so I just left, but I saw all these people leaving after me.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm not doing a bunch of paperwork to get a sandwich.
That's like the thing you did to that Starbucks.
Oh,
everybody leave.
That's right.
You've told that on here, I think.
Yeah, that one, the real quick version is, there were 2 Starbucks that looked exactly the same. Harvey's in Lake Tahoe and Harrah's in Vegas. And the Harvey's at Lake Tahoe, or the Vegas one, has a Starbucks upstairs also, and the Tahoe one doesn't. So I'm in this long line, and eventually I was like, this line's way too long, and everybody's complaining about it. I go, I'm going to go to the one upstairs. And they're like, they got one upstairs? And I go, yeah, it's right upstairs. The same. I mean, it might be a long line there too, but whatever. So I'm like halfway up these long stairs, and I'm like, wait, is this the one that's got it? And then I look behind me, and there's like 20 people following me, and I was like, oh, shit. I get to the top. There's no Starbucks up there, and everybody's like, are you out of your fucking mind? Honey,
I mean, that's got to be in another one of your movies.
Yeah, no, that would be good.
But yeah, it is like these places make... It's just they make rules like, and I mean, I've talked about, because, we'll make phone calls on the podcast, and just how every business now, you get a recording, and it's like, be sure to listen to the whole recording, because some of the options may have changed, and it's like, no, they didn't. And you just want a person, so you push 0, and it's like, no, we made it 5, because we know you just want to talk to a person.
Yeah.
But you got to listen to our dumb fucking thing, jump through all the hoops, and then you could talk to a person. It's like, there's a person sitting right fucking there. You're not getting 1,000 calls. And another thing too, this is the new thing that's, I'm just like, and whatever, I'm like fucking zen now. Cause I just like, I used to like, just lose my mind over that stuff. I'm like, why? But tell me why, like, why do I have to fucking listen? I'm a grown man. Why do I have to do some dumb rule you made up? There's no reason. And now I'm like,
that was the
whatever.
real you. And now that part is dead. And now we're all just sort of like, okay, whatever. We lost.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess so. But so now, like, because I quit drinking, and I've started. There's this. I'll give them a plug. This. It's called Athletic Brewing Company. They make this IPA that's like tastes just like a real beer. And
I think I've had that. Yeah.
yeah, it's good. I mean, I recently started drinking where I was just like, I didn't want a beer, but I was like, I tried one before and I was like, oh, maybe I'll have that. So like, yeah, I've been drinking that. And also Guinness makes a non-alcoholic.
Guinness Zero.
Yeah, it's fucking tastes just like a Guinness. I mean, it's come a long way since O'Doul's. That was like, you know, when non-alcoholic beer first came out, it tasted like seltzer water where you're like, what? What is this? So I go to the fucking Ralph's or whatever, and I get a 6-pack of that non-alcoholic beer, and I go to the self-checkout, and it's like, man, and the lady comes up, she's like, oh yeah, you can't buy alcohol here. And I go, yeah, this isn't alcohol. She goes, yeah, I know, but it's still, you can't. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's that way. And I go, all right. Like where I'm just like, I'm about to, you know, like, you know, yeah, your normal reaction should be like, explain that to me. Fucking explain. Cause it's a 0% alcohol. So why can't I do the self-checkout and I got to get in that long fucking line?
Yeah.
But I mean, she actually was like, oh, I can, whatever. But then I ordered some here at the office on like Instacart or whatever. And the guy brings it and I go, oh, thanks a lot. He goes, no, wait, I need to scan your ID. I'm like, why? He's like, because of the beer. I'm like, it's fucking non-alcohol. Like, I mean, I didn't say, I'm just like, yeah, sure. Here you go. Cause it's just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like he's just some guy who's like, well, that's just the rule. If I don't scan your fucking ID, I get fired. Like, but it's just like, okay, here's another pointless fucking rule where it's just like, you know, it's not a hill to die on, but it's like,
oh yeah, no. I remember I used to go to the library in Pasadena back when I was in college, and I'd want to go there and study, and there would be like all these high school kids just making all this noise. So I finally found that there was a huge, awesome door that you could close to one section of the library, and it would just be all perfectly quiet, and I could study. So I was doing that for a little while until finally one of the librarians comes in, and she's like, you have to leave this open at all times. I'm like, why? And she didn't have an answer at all, but she was just like, it has to do with the fire department.
Yeah.
Like, you just made that up. That's bullshit.
Well, that was like Hedberg's joke too, where it's just like, do not like, don't stand in front of the door if there's a fire, like something about like if it's a fire exit, it's like, well,
that's
fucking, I'm not going to be like standing here. If there's a fire, I'm going to run out the door.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to still stand here and block the door while people are running out for fire. That's good. I don't know if I knew that one.
It's something I don't have it right, but it was.
You mean the one about the escalator?
No.
A totally different joke.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
There was another
the one about the ants or the rice.
Yeah. So, it's just on the subject of like we're all walking around just waiting for one thing to just piss us off enough to snap. But I remember this was back when my friend Drew Hastings. Remember Drew?
Yeah.
He was living here, and he would jump in with us on all these types of things. He would get super angry, and I remember one time I saw him at, it was like is that Rite Aid? I think one of those. It was a drugstore, but they also had like a little gardening little section, and they had this one little bench there that they were selling or whatever. And he didn't know I was there. We lived in the same neighborhood, and I saw him from behind just sitting there on the bench, just relaxing. And so I went up behind him just as a joke, and I was like, sir, you can't sit there. And he didn't know it was me. Oh man. Like his face like turned all red, and he was like, what in the fuck? Like he was just ready to just tear somebody. And then I was like, hey man, no, it's me. And he's like, oh, hey man, how's it going? Like he was about to go, why in the fuck can't I stay? That was hilarious.
There's so many. There was another one too. Oh, that was like a joke. It was like an idea for a joke that I had because I went to a diner. And on the register, there's a big sign that says like checks not accepted or whatever. And I was just like, why don't you just hang a sign that says like, no bartering or no fucking like gold doubloons. Like, who the fuck's paying with a check? Is that for like hilarious. The like 180-year-old lady who?
Yeah. That's hilarious.
But it's just such a like, you still need that sign?
I know.
I mean, whatever. That doesn't piss me off. It just made it like.
No checks.
Because it's the, like no smoking. Like at my son's preschool. There's a big sign and it's like no drugs, no bombs. It's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, the people that
like if somebody's coming in with drugs and a bomb, the sign's not gonna fucking deter them.
The sign. Oh, damn, man! I was gonna blow this place up. I didn't know you couldn't bring a bomb. That ruins my whole plan.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No firearms either. Fuck. Well, I guess I'll have a smoke. You got to be kidding me.
That was one time I was on stage. They used to have a Flappers out in Claremont. Did you ever have the joy of doing that?
No.
And we tried to do this in our movie Punching Henry, but it didn't quite work. Just sometimes it's not as funny when you try to reenact it as it was. But I was up on stage and there was a girl. It was just like a whole table of young hot chicks that were just talking. They checked out of my show early and they just were not into it or whatever. And this waiter guy comes over, our manager, and just goes, "Hey, ladies, you can't talk. You can't talk during the show, you know." And they're like, eye roll. You know?
Right, yeah, it's always...
One girl just pulls out her phone and starts messing with it. And then the guy comes over and he's like, "Ma'am, you can't use your phone here." And then she throws it down and she just goes, "What can I do, sir? What can I do?" It's like, why don't you watch the show or go somewhere else? But it's just like, what can you do? It's like, I don't know. That was just hilarious to me. So you can't do anything? Well, no, you can watch the show, you can eat, you can have a drink or whatever. There's a lot you can do. Well, obviously that's not an option. I'm not going to watch the guy.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in her defense, it was you.
It was. And it was a bad show.
You've been doing a lot of shows again, right?
I do about one a month on the average every year. I just did Fairfield, Connecticut.
Hold on, I have a funny thing to say for the podcast.
Let's hear it.
Do you call that your time of the month?
Yeah.
Like your period.
Henry's time of the month. That would be a good name for every show. Yeah, I do. If anybody wants to come, I'm doing Naperville, Illinois. Just a bar out there that sent me an email and said, "Hey, we like what you do."
Oh, nice.
It's like a Chicago suburb there. And so, yeah, every now and then.
When is that?
That's June 28th.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Henry's.kitchen you can go to. And that's like my Linktree thing or whatever.
Does that help? Has the kitchen videos, like, are there a lot of people?
Yeah, people show up with their aprons and their cookbooks and I sign them. Yeah, I was just in Fairfield, Connecticut. I don't do a lot of shows, so the ones that I do, I get people coming from a long way. And
that's the Midwest in general, I find, where like I would do shows in where did I do? I did a show in like Madison, I think. And or whatever. Anytime that I'd done shows in the Midwest, like especially like in the Indiana, Wisconsin, whatever, there's always like at least one or two people like, "Yeah, we drove 4 hours." Yeah. And it's like, whoa, why? Like I feel bad now because I know the show wasn't that good. Yeah. But they're like, no, where we live, nothing happens. You have to drive 3 hours if you want to see anything.
My go-to bit is always like, oh, we drove 4 hours from Chicago. I'm always like, I'm in Chicago tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck? Then they do the Drew Hastings face. So what I think what it is people are like, and I would probably do this if I was a big enough fan of somebody, but like they're just like, why don't we've been wanting to take a trip anyway, why don't we do, get a hotel and we'll just do a whole thing and that'll just be part of it. They're not just going just for that show. It's just sort of like you're an extra excuse. But I mean, I literally on 2 occasions I've had people come from Sweden.
Oh, wow.
Like I had that when I was in Fresno. It was a couple, Switzerland, and then Sweden was when I was in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Now, do you have sex with these people?
No. Oh. No, we just mutually masturbate.
Oh, that's cool.
But
that's the same thing, really. I prefer that.
To that nice Swedish couple. Like, what did he? And I'm not going to try to do the accent. But no, people. But to be fair, from Sweden to New York, that's only like a 6-hour flight. It's not like going to LA. So,
yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I think they probably say, well, we've been wanting to go to the U.S. for a while. Let's just turn it into a thing, and then that'll be one of the things that we do.
No, I had when I was in Chicago last year. There was a couple who came to one of the shows, and it was the same. They were like, "Oh, we drove from whatever, Indianapolis or whatever, 6 hours. And I was just like, why? That sucks, you know? Now I'm like depressed. And they're like, oh, well, no, we also like, you know, go to all the like they were going to like the baseball fields there. They're like, oh, we do that. So it was like, maybe they were just saying that to make me feel better. Because they're like, yeah, I know, you fucking ruined our,
oh man,
now we got to drive all the way back and it sucks. We didn't even have any laughs.
Well, I remember seeing Doug in Indiana at a punk bar with 100 people. This is like when he just started doing the non-club thing.
Yeah.
You know, and he was up there, and he had just done one in Cincinnati, and now he was in Indianapolis, and it was all the same people, and they all knew all the jokes, and they were like saying the jokes, and then he had to hang out and drink with them, and he said something like under his breath. He's like, boy, I thought the whole idea was what a dream it would be to just go from town to town and just play for, you know, a couple hundred people. I didn't know it was going to be the same 100 people every fucking show. And they know all that, they were shouting out the punchlines and everything, which is like,
he has an interesting fan base.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I mean, I guess any kind of fan base, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to like discern, you know, separate people as fans and whatever, but I don't know. I guess, I mean, there's things that I'm into, but like,
are they sort of like the Fish fan base or the
Doug's fan base?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a certain kind of type. I feel like you encounter a certain type over and over again. But yeah, they're like I feel like, because like, and I've said it before, but like, you know, I feel like you have like Joe Rogan, who's obviously, you know, a lot more, you know, he's more well known than Doug. But I feel like Joe can, like, I feel like he's like responsible for so many careers where he's just like, oh, hey, this guy's my friend. And everyone's like, oh, where do I get tickets? And he's like, no, he's not even a comedian. So I don't care. Like, you know, the guy could just sell out arenas. But like the people who like Doug only like Doug, you know? And I feel like there's no like where he's like, hey, Sean Rouse is great. You should go to his show. And they're like, no, I already spent the only $40 I have on you. And also, I don't care about anything.
Can
but
I just
you.
give Doug $80
instead of supporting his friend who's funny?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then Doug can give the other guy $40 if he wants, but I just want to give it to Doug. Yeah, no, yeah, he beat down his own path, but a lot of people are doing that now. Who would you say? Because now it's been many years, but like who would you say in the younger demographic is the Doug Stanhope right now, or is there one?
Bill Burr?
For the full uncut episode, head to patreon.com/worldrecordpodcast. For the full uncut episode, head to patreon.com/worldrecordpodcast. Patreon.com/worldrecordpodcast.